Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
3 people found dead in a Cary home. What we've learned about their relationship.
Also, a first of its kind this noon. Chips Manufacturing Institute coming to the Triangle. How today's announcement could bring semiconductor manufacturing back to the United States.
And rain is back in our forecast. The dual Doppler 5000 radar is dry right now, but there's rain just to our west. I'll show you when it will arrive today and who it will affect.
This morning, police are piecing together clues after finding 3 people dead inside a home in Cary. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Jeff Hogan. Thanks for joining us. And that includes a mother and 2 young adults, one of whom was her son. WRAL's Eric Miller is looking into this for us today. And Eric, police are being very tight-lipped about this case.
Jeff, that they are. This is the neighborhood where everything happened. We're standing on Smokemont Drive in the Linville Ridge community. This afternoon, more than 20 hours after police first got that call, they haven't released any information on how these people might have died or what led to 3 people ending up dead in this suburban home. You take a look at this video here from Sky 5, you get a sense just how big this scene was here. Crime scene tape completely surrounding this house and forensics teams working well into the night. We know the victims were a mother, 54-year-old Erica Holt, her 19-year-old son Xavier, and another teenager, 19-year-old Amina Guy. Police confirm everyone involved here did know each other and that there is no ongoing threat to the community. Now, the investigation in this case, it has been handed over to the Office of the Medical Examiner. And at this point, still so many unanswered questions that we know investigators are going to be digging into, and we're going to be digging into as well. In Cary, Eric Miller, WRAL News.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, a bit of good breaking news. The 2 children at the center of a Haywood County Amber Alert have been found safe and unharmed. We want to show you the 2 girls that they were looking for, 12-year-old Alize Rose and 3-year-old Kinley Stepp. Again, they have been found safe. They were taken from Waynesville. Authorities believe they were with Jacob Stepp. The Haywood County Sheriff's Office says they had help from the Cherokee Tribal Police Department, who assisted in finding one of those children. They have not released any additional information about who they were with, when they were found, or where. But again, they are safe. They say the investigation is ongoing at this point.
All right, safely found is the top point there. Michelle, thanks. Skies are mostly cloudy as our next front approaches. Some light rain is likely in our southern counties today. Elizabeth Gardner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now with a look at how much rain this front will bring. Elizabeth.
So it's bringing a lot of rain to parts of the country, especially just to our south, parts of Alabama, Georgia, even South Carolina, seeing some showers. And you can see here, it looks like it's starting to lift up into our area, but some of this is so high up in the atmosphere that it's evaporating before it reaches the ground. So we haven't seen any rain just yet in our viewing area, but there's plenty of it back to the west. The thing about it is it's just likely to lift maybe as far north as the Triangle area. We're really not looking at very much rain for today. We'll have another shot at it tomorrow when the cold front itself moves through. That front is still back into Tennessee, so we're going to walk you through that. Behind the front, the cold and the wind are likely to be much bigger elements to this. We're not likely to see very much rain, even though it looks like there's a lot there on the map. When it comes through here, it'll be minimal, probably a 1/10 of an inch or so. But winds will begin gusting 30 to 40 on Wednesday night and last into the weekend, and our highs will drop into the 50s and the overnight lows into the 30s. Our hour-by-hour rain chances this afternoon bump up to 30%, mostly in our southern counties. There's just not going to be much coverage of that. Let's walk you through today. So starting here, as we get through the next few hours, you can see just a few showers. Southern Pines, Fayetteville, Clinton, maybe Goldsboro up through around 6 p.m. That's pretty quiet overnight. Could be just a quick sprinkle first thing in the morning tomorrow. And then after that, it'll be in the afternoon where we see just a little bit of patchy light rain. We'll go over how much that could be and then the wind chills that we could see later in the week coming up.
Thanks, Elizabeth. We have breaking news this noon. Democratic Supreme Court Justice Allison Riggs appears to have won re-election to the state's highest court. It's not final yet, but within the last 20 minutes, her Republican opponent, Jefferson Griffin, called for a recount. More than 5.5 million people voted in this race, and the final results, made official this morning, showed Riggs won by just 625 votes. A recount could take weeks, but if the results stand, this will be the first time a Democrat has won a statewide judicial election in 6 years. For more updates on the latest on this, go to NC Capital section of WRAL.com.
A major announcement in Durham this morning has economic and national security implications. The federal government plans to award $285 million for a chips manufacturing institute. Private funding brings the total for that institute up to $1 billion, and this would be headquartered in Durham. The new partnership is called Smart USA. WRAL's Monica Casey was at that announcement. And Monica, there are high hopes and big goals for this first of its kind facility.
The goal of this partnership is to speed up the development of semiconductor technology and reduce the cost to manufacture chips. It has nationwide impact and can help the local and state economy, creating more high-paying jobs. There are questions about whether the incoming Trump administration will continue the CHIPS program. We asked Undersecretary of Commerce Lori LoCascio about that uncertain future.
I mean, the exciting part about the CHIPS and Science Act is it really was a bipartisan effort to bring back semiconductor manufacturing to the United States and continue us on this trajectory of being the research and development powerhouse in the world. So we hope that with this new administration, they'll also be excited about that opportunity.
Proponents of this program say it has national security implications. That's because the ability to make chips here in the U.S. can protect the country from potential trade disputes with other countries that also import them here. China is a major exporter of chips. Now, this Chips Manufacturing Institute joins a network of 17 others across the country, all focused on increasing U.S. manufacturing. Live in Durham, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
Today, Raleigh City Council will take the next steps in a plan for the upgraded Raleigh Convention Center site. The plan includes adding an Omni Hotel there. This is an artist rendering of that. Omni plans to build a 550-room hotel on South Street. The 27-story hotel will have 55,000 square feet of meeting space, along with a spa and rooftop pool. The city plans to invest $75 million in tax revenues for the project, and the goal is to finish it all by the end of 2028.
State House lawmakers are expected this afternoon to override another veto by Governor Roy Cooper. This time, it's a bill that would put $500 million more into private school vouchers. WRAL Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie is live at the Legislative Building this afternoon, where public school advocates gathered to voice their opposition. Laura.
Renee, House and Senate leaders here said at the beginning of the year that one of their priorities was to fully fund the waiting list for the school voucher program. They may finally make that happen this week. The voucher program started out as what they called opportunity scholarships. They were targeted toward helping low-income students find an alternative to failing schools. But last year, state lawmakers removed the income cap, and tens of thousands of people got on the waiting list. Voucher supporters say wealthy people are taxpayers too, and they have a right to benefit from the program. Opponents like Yvonne Brannon say this money should be going to North Carolina's public schools, which are among the lowest funded in the country.
How about an across-the-board 3.5% raise for all our teachers? That's what this money could do. How about funding 2,100 health professionals in our schools, a school nurse for every school, or a school psychologist for every school?
Governor Roy Cooper said lawmakers should be spending this money on Helene relief, not on vouchers. But Republican legislative leaders say they have enough money in the rainy day fund here to do both of those things. They will also take up a Helene relief bill today, but it only sets aside another $20 million. The measure also requires that all North Carolina sheriffs fully cooperate with federal immigration officials. Advocates for the immigrant community say this is even more concerning now, given President-elect Trump's pledge of mass deportation. After the House overrides the bill, which is expected to be along party lines, the Senate will be taking that up tomorrow. Laura Leslie, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Laura, thanks. And speaking of that Helene relief bill, North Carolina Republican lawmakers plan to tack on several unrelated provisions to that bill. The changes would strip power from the governor, lieutenant governor, and attorney general, all positions won by Democrats this year. It would block the AG from taking any action that the legislature is against, and it would move the state board of elections under the auditor, a position Republicans remain in this year, and take away the governor's power to appoint its members.
A Zebulon school bus driver is charged with injuring a 3-year-old child, and she is due in court in Wake County in about an hour. Tiffany Truesdale is charged with intentionally inflicting serious physical injury. She works for an independent transportation service. Wake County Schools says it removed Truesdale from all routes serving the schools as soon as the district was informed of her arrest.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, we've just learned that House Leader Hakeem Jeffries has won re-election as the Democratic leader. Jeffries of New York was chosen during an internal party vote of the House Democrats underway at the Capitol. Most of the Democratic leadership is expected to be re-elected for Congress this year. Jeffries is in line to become the House Speaker, but Republicans won control of the White House, the Senate, and also the House.
Michelle, thanks. Next at noon, an arrest in a stabbing spree in New York City. The criminal and mental history of Ramon Rivera and how it raises questions of whether this could have been avoided.
Also, all fun and games at a California amusement park? Not quite. How almost 24 people got suspended midair for hours.
Plus, 3 people found dead inside a Cary home. The information we learned today about the identity of the people killed.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.
A homeless man charged with 3 counts of murder after a stabbing spree in New York City was just released from police custody last month. Police say Ramon Rivera is the man in the surveillance video and right here on your screen. It shows the man put on a hoodie and gloves before pulling a large knife from his backpack. A witness says after the attack, he walked calmly in the other direction.
I told him, drop the bag. There's going to be cops up ahead. Drop the bag, it's not worth it. And of course, he didn't listen. He kept walking, and then the police got him.
Police say Rivera has severe mental health issues, describing him as a homeless man with a recent arrest record. He's been arrested 8 times in New York City in the past year.
Firefighters in New Jersey are working to fight a new wildfire. That's as New York City and 10 other counties in the state declared drought warnings yesterday. Sean Langill takes a look at when much needed rain may come.
In order to break a worsening dry spell that's amplifying fire risks, much of the Northeast is in desperate need of one key ingredient: rain.
I've never seen it this low.
The situation is growing dire, especially in portions of New York and New Jersey. New York City and 10 other counties in the Empire State declared drought warnings Monday.
It's hard to believe that we'll be talking about brush fires and droughts in New York City. But the reality is that this past October and November saw the second longest rainless streak in city records.
Bone-dry forests also recently triggered New Jersey's governor to declare a drought warning statewide. Residents in impacted regions are being asked to do what they can to conserve water. This comes as a new blaze erupted Monday in Hainesport, New Jersey, not too far from Philadelphia. The flames rising near several structures, prompting crews to quickly set up containment lines to try and save them. Meanwhile, containment of the Jennings Creek wildfire is also being bolstered along the New York-New Jersey border, but the continued lack of water is still keeping many on edge.
Normally, we'd have from September until now about 10 inches of rain, and we've only received about 2.5 inches of rain.
It's not just low reservoirs causing concern. Environmental protection officials say the entire New York City water system is in dire need of replenishment.
The New York City system is at 63% capacity right now. Normally it would be about 79% capacity.
While some rain is expected in portions of the Northeast later this week, whether the weather brings any relief is yet to be seen.
And that was Sean Langill reporting. Firefighters in Rhode Island appear to have a large brush fire that broke out last night contained. The fire was spotted burning near I-295. The cause of the fire is not yet known, but one witness says it looked like it started at a nearby nursery and landscaping business. There was a concern the fire could spread due to the dangerously dry conditions, but no reports of any injuries or structural damage.
A day at a California amusement park was all fun and games until it wasn't. Over 20 people spent more than 2 hours suspended midair yesterday afternoon when a ride malfunctioned. Video shows some of those riders at varying angles, some kicking their legs. None appear to be trapped upside down. The soul spin is described as one for the brave, but we are sure this is not what those riders expected. Video shows the riders running out of their seats once they hit the ground, and no word on what caused that ride to stop working.
What an ordeal.
Round and round they went until they stopped and hung there over 2 hours. Long time. We've had a roller coaster of sorts with our temperatures and with the coming front.
Yeah, and we're going to get on the low part of the roller coaster soon. A nice downward slide. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center will be like, no hands. All right, let's go down into the 30s.
Hold on tight or don't, either way. We're not likely to have a whole lot of rain. Some showers will develop this afternoon, mainly in southern counties, probably, a tenth of an inch or so. And then again, the same thing tomorrow afternoon, just a very small chance for rain. So the biggest impact with this front is definitely going to be the wind and the cold. Winds starting to gust tomorrow night, 30 to 40 miles per hour. Cold temperatures, overnight lows in the 30s, but probably just above freezing. So looking at, upper 30s, but it'll feel more like low 30s with the wind chill starting Thursday all the way through Saturday. And you know what Saturday is, right? The Christmas parade. So we're going to talk more about what that will feel like. But first, let's take a look outside. We're seeing mostly cloudy skies right now. We're looking west across Wake County. There are a few holes in the clouds in a few places, a little blue sky peeking through. And it's definitely a warm afternoon. 67 is our current temperature. Our dew point's 55. That's starting to creep up a little bit because, of course, we're looking at more clouds. And some moisture is sitting on our doorstep right now. We'll roll this satellite and radar picture into motion, and you can see that it looks like we have some showers that are working their way into our southern viewing area, but most of that is just way up high in the clouds and dissipating before it reaches the ground. A lot of this rain that you're seeing across parts of the deep south will actually stay to our south. The cold front tomorrow will come swinging through. The cold front's about the middle of Tennessee right now, so it'll take its time and most likely be about 24 hours or so before it moves through here. So here's Futurecast. As we get through the afternoon, just a small chance of some showers around Fayetteville or Clinton, maybe 1 or 2 o'clock this afternoon. And then into the late afternoon and evening, some of that might start to push a little bit farther to the north, but the amount of rain that we see today is going to be minimal. And really the same thing again tomorrow. There's 6 p.m. and we're pretty quiet, maybe with just a few sprinkles. We're going to take a closer look at tomorrow. It looks like the morning commute will be dry, but during the afternoon, there could be some light showers. 65 in Fayetteville, 69 Rocky Mount, 68 in Roxborough, 71 in South Hill. Looking at 72 for the high in Raleigh, 71 in Durham, and 73 in Fayetteville for this afternoon. Beautiful sunset last night from Joel Powell, Hyco Lake there, beautiful view. And we probably are going to have a fairly gray evening this evening, so we may not see the pretty sunsets that we did last night. WRAL.com, search Weather Watchers, you can send us your photos. 72 today, 73 tomorrow, but tomorrow will be gray. There'll be a few sprinkles on and off. And then we see that big dive in the roller coaster. Highs in the 50s starting Thursday, overnight lows in the 30s Friday, Saturday, and Sunday mornings. And then we're going to see the roller coaster kind of starting to make that climb. But here's all the warm air in the southeast. That goes sliding eastward. That low pressure system circulating here pushes that colder air into our region and coming right out of Canada. So it's going to be pretty chilly for us. The wind starts to pick up Wednesday night, 30 to 40 miles per hour. It continues Thursday and Friday, and then slightly lighter, 25 to 35 on Saturday. But that's really going to make it feel pretty uncomfortable. Highs in the 50s aren't too bad, but in the mornings, it's really going to be pretty chilly. Partly cloudy skies to start the parade on Saturday, but the wind chill at 9 a.m. will be about 35 degrees and expected to feel like freezing, probably if you're going to be out at, say, 7 or 8 o'clock to get a really good sight along the sidewalk. After that, temperatures start to warm up a little bit next week. We'll talk a little more, though, coming up about just how much rain we'll see on Wednesday.
Thanks, Elizabeth. One of the hardest hit areas by Helene is slowly reopening, but it's not business as usual. Coming up on WRAL News at 4, the changes people can expect when visiting Asheville.
And at 5, a man prosecutors say is the highest ranking blood gang member in North Carolina was in court today. How they say he was able to pull off drug deals from jail. And still ahead this noon, how many emails are in your inbox? If the answer is thousands, my hand is up. You just might be a digital hoarder. The signs of this disorder and how you can break the cycle.
Oh, we need to declutter our inboxes. Plus, a video that was meant to pay tribute to Coke's holiday commercial from 1995 is sparking controversy. Some say a new Christmas ad from Coca-Cola missed the mark. The Justice Department wants a judge to order Google to sell its Chrome browser. Chrome is the world's most widely used browser, and the government argues its use in cross-promoting Google's products hurts competition. The government plans to file a framework to seek remedies against Google later this month. Google will have a chance to propose its own remedies next month. If you want to buy a new car, be prepared for quite a sticker shock. New data shows Americans pay over $47,000 on average for a new car last month. That's about $10,000 more from 5 years ago. There are several reasons for the price hike, including expensive SUVs and trucks. Vehicles today also come with driver assist features such as automatic braking and blind spot warning systems. There's also a growing demand for electric vehicles and hybrids, both of which are more expensive than traditional gas-only cars.
Cyber Monday is projected to be the most popular shopping day during the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. A new survey finds nearly 60% of adults say they are likely to buy something on Cyber Monday versus about 50% who say Black Friday and Small Business Saturday. Additionally, about 48% say they bought something at pre-holiday sales during October. Coca-Cola is facing some backlash for using artificial intelligence in some of its new holiday ads. The company's Holidays Are Coming ad campaign has been around since 1995. A spokesperson says this year's ads were made through a collaboration of human storytellers and generative AI. Critics call the new ads lifeless and worry they are costing animators their jobs. Coca-Cola says it is also putting out more traditional ads this holiday season.
The NFL is cashing in on the Beyoncé effect. Demand for tickets to the Christmas game between the Houston Texans and Baltimore Ravens soared after the superstar announced she would be performing at halftime. Online ticket marketplace Vivid Seats says the average prices for resale tickets saw a 40% increase, going from $378 to $528 a ticket overnight. Traffic to the site for the game also jumped more than 700%. The game day performance will air live on Netflix on December 25th.
It would be nice if Ms. Criswell would be human and come to terms with the fact that FEMA has not addressed the safety concerns that the crew leads and the specialists experience out in the field.
A former FEMA employee speaks out about being fired after she was accused of skipping over homes in Florida that had Donald Trump supporter signs in them.
New scrutiny over the president-elect's pick for attorney general. What an attorney has to say about Matt Gaetz's alleged sexual encounter with a minor. But first, here's a look at the winning lottery numbers.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
A short time ago, FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell testified during hearings that got quite heated on Capitol Hill.
Yeah, right at the center of those hearings, a text message a supervisor sent to relief workers in Florida. It advised the team to avoid homes advertising Trump. This is all in the wake of Hurricane Milton. The worker says those were areas that they encountered hostility. However, Criswell says it was a clear violation of FEMA's core values.
WRAL's Noah Klein has been listening to the testimony. He joins us now with the key takeaways. Noah.
Renee, let's take a live look outside here, the U.S. Capitol, outside Washington, D.C. on a beautiful morning there. That's where the Capitol hearing happened today. Criswell testified to a House subcommittee. She did talk about that worker who went against FEMA's guidelines and told people to avoid homes in Florida with those pro-Trump signs posted. Criswell says FEMA, again, has fired that employee. She says what happened simply won't be tolerated. The employee has appeared on Fox News and other outlets saying her superiors told her not to go to homes with Trump signs. She was simply just relaying that message. The committee chair asked Criswell how wide-ranging the investigation into what happened is.
Okay, so I get there's an ongoing investigation, but this isn't a law enforcement thing where you can't say, well, we have an investigation, so we can't talk about it. You can talk about this. Does the investigation include her immediate supervisors and several steps above that?
The investigation includes those that were deployed in this particular incident, and we have found no evidence that there is anything beyond this one employee's specific direction.
Congressman Chuck Edwards also testified. Edwards, he represents the 11th district. That's roughly Asheville and Hendersonville to the corner of the state. He says 80 people are dead just in his district alone. He says it took 3 days for people to see FEMA in the community, said that's simply just not good enough. Chris Well, meanwhile, is set to testify in front of a House committee at 2 o'clock.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, going off of that, we've learned this afternoon that the Helene death toll in North Carolina has now risen to 103 people. A 40-year-old man passed away in Yancey County last week after the truck he was driving that was hauling aid in storm cleanup actually turned over, bringing that number to 103. Buncombe County saw 43 deaths, Yancey County 11. We've also heard from the Asheville mayor here. She says that they have come a long way. She says they now have clean water there. They've restored their water system, but there are areas that still need help. There are bridges that are still broken. Homes are destroyed, and the long-term recovery is going to take a long time.
This afternoon, State House lawmakers are expected to override another veto by Governor Roy Cooper. This time, it's the bill that would put $500 million more into private school vouchers. Vouchers started out as the Opportunity Scholarship Program targeted toward helping low-income students find an alternative to failing schools. Last year, though, state lawmakers removed the income cap, putting thousands of people on the waiting list. Voucher supporters say wealthy people are taxpayers too, and they have a right to benefit from the program. Opponents say this money should be going to North Carolina's public schools, which are among the lowest funded in the country. Two Johnston County high school juniors are pushing for change after finding out they no longer can participate in sports. They both attend Johnston County Virtual Academy, an alternative program the school district offers, but they played sports for the schools where they live. At Johnston County's August board meeting, board members approved a change in district policy no longer allowing students at specialty schools to participate in sports. And that includes Virtual Academy, Early College, and the Career Technical Leadership Academy.
Members of the House Ethics Committee will meet tomorrow to consider whether it should release its report into former Representative Matt Gaetz. The panel postponed plans to gather last Friday for an unclear reason. NBC's Hallie Jackson explains how the president-elect is putting the full court press on senators to move Gaetz through as Attorney General.
This morning, new scrutiny for Matt Gaetz, President-elect Trump's embattled pick for Attorney General. Mr. Trump has been reportedly reaching out personally to senators to ask them to back Gaetz's nomination. The now former Florida congressman resigned his seat last week, ending a House Ethics Committee's inquiry into a series of troubling allegations, which Gaetz has long denied, including illicit drug use and sex with a then 17-year-old girl at a Florida party in 2017. Attorney Joel Leppard represents a woman who says she was there.
What did your client witness at this party?
She was walking outside to the pool, and she observed to her right her friend, who was 17 at the time, having sex with Representative Gaetz. They were leaned up to what she described to as a game table of some type.
Did your client believe that Gaetz at the time knew that her friend was underage?
She testified that her belief was that Representative Gaetz had no knowledge that she was under 18.
Leppard says his clients, both the alleged witness and another woman, testified to that House committee this spring.
They put up a number of Venmo payments and PayPal payments by Representative Gaetz and asked both of my clients, what were each one of these payments made for. And my clients repeatedly testified, well, that was for sex.
The Justice Department ultimately declined to bring charges against Gaetz, and a Gaetz spokesperson says these are baseless allegations intended to derail the second Trump administration. The House Ethics Committee is set to meet tomorrow, according to a source familiar, to discuss the Gaetz report.
The fact of the matter is, whether we get the ethics report or not, the facts are going to come out.
Also coming under fire, Mr. Trump's pick to run the nation's health agency, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., his own cousin, Caroline Kennedy, the U.S. ambassador to Australia, taking aim at his anti-vaccine positions.
I think Bobby Kennedy's views on vaccines are dangerous, but I don't think that most Americans share them.
Meanwhile, preparations are underway for President-elect Trump's second inauguration. This morning, the honor guards and drill teams that will perform provided a preview of the inauguration. Teams from the Army, Navy, Marines, and others rehearsed their skills. Trump will be sworn in as the 47th president on January 20th. It will be our country's 60th presidential inauguration.
Energy drinks are extremely popular, but they're not regulated by the FDA. The possible serious side effects you should know about when drinking these for an energy boost.
And the nationwide effort to help Santa fulfill more wishes and how you can become one of Santa's helpers. Download the upgraded version of the WRAL News app. It features improved speed and navigation and the ability to customize your home screen.
Energy drinks have grown in popularity over the years. While they may be tempting to try, it's best to use caution. Energy drinks are not regulated by the FDA, which means brands can add ingredients they want to the beverage. In many cases, that includes excessive amounts of stimulants like caffeine, excess sugar, and artificial sweeteners. Too much caffeine can put people at risk for high blood pressure, increased heart rate, and anxiety.
As we are learning more about energy drink, we are becoming much more aware about several reports of patients who experience pretty serious side effect of energy drink in the form of stroke or even heart attack. And part of it is contributed either to patient underlying risk factor, if a patient or individual has underlying cardiac or even prior stroke, but also probably related to the composition of the energy drink itself.
Doctors also urge caution with over-the-counter bodybuilding and weight loss supplements. Just like energy drinks, those are not regulated by the FDA.
You have the chance to learn more about Medicaid eligibility and enrollment tonight. The Department of Health and Human Services is hosting a fireside chat. Panelists will talk about who is now eligible to apply under the new expansion and ways to apply. They will also answer questions about open enrollment. You can tune in virtually on the department's Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube channels starting at 6. Do you have a plethora of photos and unread emails on your devices? Well, if so, you might be a digital hoarder. Health experts describe digital hoarding as having too many digital files, such as texts, emails, or photos. They say users hold on to these things out of fear of needing them at some point down the line. A software research company says there are roughly 80 apps on the average smartphone. Owners only use about 9 every day. So to combat digital hoarding, health experts recommend unsubscribing from unwanted newsletters and email notifications, clearing your inbox of irrelevant or unread emails, and deleting those unused apps.
Well, I have some work to do. You have noticed by now the loss in daylight around here, but you know what they say, it could always be worse. Well, ahead, the Alaska town that won't see daylight for the next 2 months.
And a silver coin sets a new auction record. The history behind this piece of silver and how much it sold for.
Bring you back this noon with this beautiful view of the downtown Cary Park. This is one of our newest WRAL camera network options, and we love it right there. It's mild out there today. As you watch WRAL News, available on Spectrum and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device. A rare silver coin older than the U.S. just sold for millions of dollars. The 3-pence coin sold for more than $2.5 million, which is a new record. The coin was made in Boston in 1652, which makes it one of the first coins to be minted in the then British colony. It was found in a box in an old cabinet in the Netherlands in 2016, and there was a note attached that was written in 1798, and it read, "Silver token unknown. From Quincy family." Extensive research, testing, and analysis helped reveal its true historical value. Just one other 3-pence coin of this type is known to have survived to present day.
a much simpler design from back in the day. Authorities in South Carolina say 6 monkeys are still loose. It's been nearly 2 weeks since dozens of them escaped a medical research facility. Remember this story? Well, we can tell you 37 of the 43 monkeys have been recovered, and that includes 2 more that were caught Sunday. The CEO of Alpha Genesis says the monkeys are in excellent condition.
So if you think we're losing daylight quickly, consider this. The northernmost point in the United States will go without sun for the next 2 months. Meteorologist Chris Michaels joins us with a look at that town and why that means winter is coming.
So the town that's formerly known as Barrow, Alaska, saw the sun set yesterday, but it won't see the sun rise again for another 2 months or so. This is a look at what it's looked like over the course of the day today. Whole lot of darkness. That's what they're going to get used to here over the next couple of months. Reason for that is because the Earth's tilt relative to the sun is about 23.5 degrees. So that's why we get different seasons. So right now the sun's direct rays are below the equator. So it's not necessarily shining into the Arctic Circle where the town formerly known as Barrow is. So yeah, it won't rise again until January 22nd of 2025. It's a sign that winter is coming as we get closer to the solstice, at which point the sun's direct rays are at 23.5 degrees south latitude. So here's what that means for us. We get less daylight over the course of the next few weeks, but after the solstice, we start to gradually gain some daylight. So now that we're talking about winter, head on over to WRAL.com. We just released our winter weather outlook yesterday evening. It's online right now. Hope you guys check that out.
Long, cold winter here? Nah.
I feel like, right. I feel like the lesson from Professor Chris there is like, don't complain about shrinking daylight here. It could always be worse. You could be in Barrow, Alaska.
Goodness. Well, Elizabeth Gardner of the WRS Severe Weather Center, it is a happy day for me when we change the clocks and get longer days again.
Oh yeah, me too. So I'm going to do a little snow happy dance. I'm going to show you that in just a minute. It's not going to be for here, I know, but still, if there's snow on the map, somewhere in driving distance, it's an exciting day in my book. We take a live look at Fayetteville this morning, and we're looking, or this afternoon, I should say, and you can see we have some cloud cover there. It's starting to really cloud things up there in Raleigh over the legislative building. My friend, the wasp, has been hanging out there like for the last half an hour, so it must be something tasty there. But we're looking at a little bit more sunshine there in Raleigh, Chapel Hill's courtesy of Top of the Hill Restaurant. Another look at Dual Doppler 5000 radar. We checked it at the beginning of the newscast, right at noon. We're still not seeing any of that rain making much progress into our area. It looks like it on the big picture, but all that, we've got a fairly dry air mass. A lot of it's just evaporating before it reaches the ground. Here's a look at the big picture, and you can see, it looks green, around Fayetteville and Clinton, but again, none of that's reaching the ground just yet. Plenty of rain down to the south, Georgia, South Carolina, but a lot of that is going to stay south. The cold front is east of Nashville now, headed to the mountains of North Carolina. When it crosses the mountains, it's going to lose some of its energy, some of its moisture. So the amount of rain that we see here is going to be minimal, starting with today. Just a little bit of isolated rain this afternoon, and then again Wednesday afternoon. The bigger impact with this is definitely going to be the wind and the cold. Tomorrow night, winds will start to gust 30 to 40 miles per hour. That'll continue into Saturday. And of course, the highs will be in the 50s and overnight lows in the upper 30s. That means wind chill will be an issue for us, especially Friday and Saturday. Here's Futurecast as we get through the afternoon. Again, the potential for some light showers in our southern counties. Tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., there could be a sprinkle, but there's not going to be much. Cold front moves through about the middle of the afternoon. There's 3 o'clock. Again, just a couple of sprinkles is all we'll see. And then we'll start to see clearing and cold air comes sweeping in. Look at this. I mean, we're looking at 1/10 to 100th of an inch of rain. I mean, just not much we're going to be able to squeeze out of this. But the mountains, on the other hand, once we get this northwesterly wind really starting to tick along, we're going to see the air rising up over the mountains. That's going to squeeze some moisture out. So mountains of North Carolina could see maybe 1 to 2 inches. But here in West Virginia, where some of the ski resorts are, hey, they could see 3 to 6 inches. Snowshoe there in West Virginia, bracing for some wintry weather, winter storm watch in effect for them later in the week. I think there are like 3 days worth of winter storm watch for them. Speaking of north and Roxbury, Murfreesboro, it's starting to be a little gusty. Winds gusting up to 18 miles per hour. Winds are going to be a much bigger issue tomorrow night and then into Thursday and Friday, gusting 30 to 40 miles per hour. Saturday, gusting 25 to 35. So what does that mean? Oof, look at this wind chill. Friday and Saturday morning, it could feel like 29 in Raleigh and 31 in Fayetteville. 15 in Boone, and that's going to be around sunrise, so that would be around 7 a.m. Wind chill at the Raleigh Christmas Parade at 9 o'clock, 35 degrees. So do bundle up, be ready. You know, I see folks out there all bundled up. You know how to do it. Then we look into next week, and it's a good bit warmer, and we're looking at those warmer temperatures into Thanksgiving. Could be back into the mid-60s, but a chance of showers.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Toys R Us and the U.S. Postal Service are helping Santa deliver Christmas magic to thousands of children. Next, how you can help and give back.
First, here's a look at the winning Powerball numbers. We have 27, 31, 41, 52, 69, and the Powerball is 26. The power play is 3. As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we're following today. A bus driver accused of breaking a 3-year-old's leg will be in a Wake County courtroom today. Tiffy in Truesdale faces a felony charge of child abuse, inflicting serious injury. Truesdale is accused of doing this while transporting the child from a preschool. And according to the Wake County School District, she was removed from all routes as soon as the school system was made aware of the injury. Truesdale's court hearing is scheduled for 1:30 this afternoon.
Right now, the Cary Police Department is investigating what led to 3 people being killed in a home. Sky 5 was above that crime scene on Smokemont Drive yesterday. 3 people were found dead inside that Cary home, including 2 19-year-olds. Police identified the victims as 54-year-old Erica Holton, as well as those 19-year-olds Xavier Holton and Amina Guy. Police say there is no threat to the community at this time.
The federal government plans to award $285 million for a chips manufacturing institute in Durham. Private funding brings the total for that institute up to $1 billion. The new partnership is called Smart USA, and the goal of this is to speed up development of semiconductor technology and reduce manufacturing costs to make chips. Toys R Us and the U.S. Postal Service are teaming up this year to make more Christmas wishes come true. The partnership formed an online e-commerce catalog called Santa's Gift Shop. Kids can send their letters in to Santa, and adopters can anonymously fulfill wish lists via Santa's Gift Shop. The U.S. Postal Service says adopters responded to nearly 30,000 Santa letters last year.
Our pet of the day is a cheerful, people-loving Carolina doghound mix from Red Barn Rescue. This is lovely Luna, a slender, leggy, and fashion model weighing in at 37 pounds. Luna is 1 year old, has a smile that could grace the cover of a magazine. She's fantastic as a walking companion, enjoys playtime with her dog friends. She's house-trained, spayed, heartworm negative, microchipped, and ready to meet you. Visit redbarnrescue.com to fill out an application to meet Luna.
Billions of dollars worth of developments are in the pipeline for downtown Raleigh. Coming up on our news at 4, how many apartments, hotels, and retail spaces are planned or proposed, and what it means for the city's residential market.
NBC News Daily is next on WRAL, your next local news update in 30 minutes.
You can get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. Have a wonderful Tuesday.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.